So here we go. This is where my notebook keeping begins, with this big red book. Oh, look at those pages. These, I'd say, are the 4 books out of the first box of journals that I've kept that I can show you. Okay. I actually have gone through these and tried to determine how much I can show you. I can't show you any of this one, but I can show you these 3 and I can tell you a bit about what they are, where they begin, how they fit into things. This was a journal that I got. It says journal on the front there. I'm sorry for the lighting. Yeah, the sun's decided to come out all of a sudden, which is fine. This is my first ever journal from, I think, the start of 2017. I got this for Christmas 2016, and it's lovely. It's by Paper Chase. It's completely leather, and I think that's part of why I stayed in this book so long. I think it held the entire year. I stayed in this book so long because it was beautiful and vintage, and the leather kind of fit with my interests at the time. I was very interested in keeping an analogue book that was that looked like an analogue book, and this colour is just beautiful. It's like Bordeaux red. Very nice. I'll see how much I can show you. I, in true me fashion, did nothing on the first page. I started out, it seems, very intimidated by the first page. These are very much, I would have been like 14, 15 at the time. So, as you can imagine, I look back at a lot of this journal and go, oh no, I don't like that. So, bear in mind. And that's what I love about journals, is the fluidity of your personhood. You capture kind of who you are at different points in time, and at a certain extent who you are not now. And that's nice to go through and see which parts of you you've retained and which parts of you you have not retained. This is very much a part of me that I have retained, and that's that I love going in magazines and cutting out bits that I liked, and that's what I decided to do for the first page. So that's where we began. I'm assuming that I went into this first book with a certain amount of fear about what I would put in it, so I maybe didn't write right away, and it's taken me many years to kind of get into writing and be comfortable with writing in my book, and now it's the main thing that I do. So just know, if you're starting out with journaling, it's not always going to be the way that you first started out. You know, it's not the be all and end all. Every journal is different. You grow, you change. And here are some very cringy now. But also it's like, you can't, cringe is a concept. Cringe is a concept. But I think these were things that I saw online and copied into my book that for some reason resonated with me. And then I'm using like a biro and some highlighters and some really cheap watercolour paints. And that's something I've returned to recently, actually, is putting art that I've made in my book, or little doodles, and you know, all the things that I kind of stopped doing in between now have a place in my book again. So it's nice to see that that was there from the start. Okay. Here's another one I can show you. It's just songs that were interesting to me at 14 years old, and that I felt the need to kind of make a song list. And I didn't really have journaling YouTube to follow. I think I just did this of my own volition, just for the sake of it, for fun. And it's been really nice to go back and see the journaling instincts that I had. I had the instinct to save and collect everything and kind of almost collage it. And it's nice to go back and see those things. So yeah, this is where the instincts began. The journaling instincts are developing. And I've got a little washi tape border. I did love washi tape, and I would use whatever washi tape I could get my hands on. And these days I can afford to be more selective, but it's nice that that's there. And I can see that I did like to decorate things from the start. And I can show you this one as well. We've got some trees. I was obsessed with drawing these trees at one point in time. I used to look out to the trees across from the house and draw trees in my room, and that's still a really nice memory that I've got from that period of time. I don't think I journaled in this book every day, but it was certainly used a lot. There was a lot of writing that went on in here as well as collaging, but I think I did just save things. I saved a lot of things from my room, like a packet of tissues that I got from the Whole Foods that used to exist in Glasgow. And I remember that immediately from that. And my mum went to Switzerland, so I have a little Switzerland tag off of, I think that was off a pencil that she got me with the cow on it. And all these washi tapes that I would collect, and then I used to love just swatching them out in the books and looking at what I had and admiring the patterns on them. And I suppose that was the start of all the collecting of art and looking at art in my books, and kind of the need to have everything in one place and to collect everything. I would save sweet wrappers that looked pretty, and even ones that were minging. That was minging. Those popcorn sweets were not nice. I remember that. And it's still in here, so I like that I've got kind of little connections, and I can still look at these instantly and remember the exact point in time that that happened, which I suppose is a great thing for a notebook to do. It's good to be blasted back into time, back into a space and time when you were doing things. We went to Blue Water ages ago, and I bought some perfume, it looks like. That was a good perfume. I can still remember the smell of that perfume. And I do actually have a perfume sample in the book that still smells like almost 8 years later of the perfume. It probably is 8 years later now. And that's nice to be able to smell a memory. It's like a scent memory of the book that I get every time I open this book, which admittedly isn't very often, but it's in there. I was obsessed with Ben & Jerry's as well. There's lots of Ben & Jerry's in here. Seeing if I can show you anything. I am worried about sharing things that I don't want to share. But I can show you the corner of that one, because that's the one with the perfume sample on it. And also, this was like the last time. There's the Whole Foods loyalty card, but that was, I think, the last time that I ever went to dinner with my grandparents. So that's nice that that's in there, a little memory with both of my grandparents anyway. You don't expect, when you're doing these things, you don't expect that you would then have memories of people that don't exist forever, because none of us exist forever. And you kind of look back and go, oh, I had a pair of mint green Converse which I loved to death, and when they were finally done and too worn out, I stuck the kind of tongue of the shoe in my book, because that felt like a nice way to commemorate them, and they're on like paint samples, which is a cute little way to back them up. That was clever of 14-year-old me, 15-year-old me on this page, because my birthday happened. So this must have been, that's the whole of the first year, and this is October to December. So I think the journaling ramped up towards the end of the year. And I don't know what I would have done without this book, to be honest. There we go. Something I've coloured in every shade of the rainbow. And then washi samples, sweet wrappers. and a foam like smiley face sticker. That's cute. So yeah, that is the first book in all its glory. I'm really impressed by how well the spine has done. And the pages were kind of gilded gold, and they still are, but it's a bit disturbed by how much I've pasted in here, so that's that. That is the first book. Cool. And then we move on to this book. I was, right at the start, I was really interested in trying out different mediums and kind of methods of bookworking. So I went to Hobbycraft and I got a scrapbook and some like little, they're cardboard. I'm surprised that's even stayed on there, but it's like proper cardboard stickers and interesting. Very much not the kind of vibe, if you like, that I go for now in a notebook, but I remember this was the sort of cute thing that I liked at the time and that was available at the time because it was just Hobbycraft. It was very unbeknownst to me that such a big stationery community would exist and develop, so yeah, all we had was Hobbycraft. I can show you the first 4 pages of this one. I've kind of looked through it beforehand and seen what I can show. And you will immediately get an idea of the sort of thing that I was doing in here. I was just playing with the form of scrapbooking, which is nice to see. So we've got very 3D elements to this page that I maybe couldn't do in the old book because it is just paper, whereas the nice kind of card of this book meant that I could add the 3D elements. And I was adding little Polaroids. My sister got a Polaroid camera, and this day sounds like a great day. But yeah, what a day that is, that we decorated gingerbread biscuits, listened to Christmas music and ate pepperoni pizza. That sounds like the perfect day. But this was at the end of 2017. So I think by the end I was looking towards a different book, which is nice to see. That I was kind of going, what next? And here we go. I was still a child. I have a little train ticket that says child on it. I don't know why that just hit me, what age I was. I look back at these and go, oh my god, I was a baby. A little baby. But I was kind of, this is a practice page. I ran out of one letter. So I did that in highlighter. The rest are like proper textured, nice stuff. And I didn't realise how much at the time that I was probably after that kind of texture that I now do in my other books. Every sweet wrapper it looks like that I stuck in this book. So yeah. That was the first year we went to Poppies. We now go every year, which is amazing. That was 2017. And now I think this was the first year we ever went to the pantomime in London at Christmas, which is another thing we do every year. Okay. I've looked back at one of the pages in between and it turns out there's too much information on there for me to share with you. But I hope that this last page will give you an idea of, again, what I was up to. I was forever in this book creating little pockets for cards that I got. So these are all my Christmas cards for that year. I have some little postage stamps. I have like one of the little comic strips off of a fruit winder. Who remembers fruit winders? I need to get another one of them and see what comics they're using this time. But that was off a Christmas card as well. I'm really surprised by how much I remember of these books. Though what I didn't remember was that my stamp collection goes further back than 2019. I did not realise that I was a stamp collector before that. And I don't know whether maybe I just stuck these in from envelopes and that was it. whether I just never thought about stamps again until 2019. But that's quite the revelation to me, to see that I'd collected stamps from way before that time. So yeah. That is the scrapbook. And yeah, it's a really precious book to me now. It's got lots of stuff in it, and it's also yeah, got loads of cards in it, big cardboard elements, and a bunch of papers at the back. I had a family member die in the process while I was doing this one, so I remember it was quite the outlet. And I also kept in the back here like the card that you get at memorial services. So it's quite a precious book to me now. Everyone needs an outlet in times like that, and a notebook for me has often been a change of scenery. I think that would have definitely contributed to the change of scenery that was this book. I've never done anything like it again, but I can say that I scrapbooked, and you do have to experiment with mediums sometimes. Even if you look back and go, that's not my style, this still fits into my story. So impressive. And then I can't show you this one, but it's mostly writing. This was the kind of transition after the scrapbook, was to this one that I got in HomeSense. That's the brand. I just remember loving the kind of vintagey feel of this notebook, even though it's not leather, it's like pleather, but I thought it was pretty. And the kind of kookiness of it. I went back and looked for more of them, I think, at the time, and didn't find any, but this was very lovely to have. And this journal was very much a me talking to the book journal. It was at a particularly rough point in time, and I remember the book completely being a confidant, so treasured. That book will be treasured. And it doesn't matter what you write in the book as well. It just matters that it's part of you. Even if you don't identify with everything that was in it and you kind of learn and grow, it's still a part of your story. This is the weakest book. There's like not many pages filled in it, but this is kind of a testament to my first initial experiences of commonplacing. I did this book in, I think, 2018, when I discovered that commonplacing was a thing. I wish I could show you the first page. I got gifted to this by a friend at the time, and I coloured in the first page because it was a colouring page. I can't show you the whole thing because it's got my full name on it, but I can show you the rest of the pages. Cute. Here we go. At the time, I was obsessed with the Beat Generation, which is quite the time period for like a 15-year-old to be obsessed with. But I feel like if you're going to be obsessed with it at any point, that is the time to be obsessed with it. Because and I haven't read Howl until last year, which is probably for the best, because I wouldn't have appreciated it back then anyway. But I was obsessed with the movie Kill Your Darlings, which has Daniel Radcliffe in it, and I was just really taken by the story of Allen Ginsberg, and it meant a lot to me. Kind of, you have to look back at kind of queer figures in history and feel kind of a kindred spirit experience if you're a teenager and that's the sort of thing you're thinking about. And that's definitely what this was. It was kind of a point of connection and a bit of queer history that was really important to me, and literary history as well. because literary history was important to me. You can see that my handwriting's huge. I was using a Parker pen with blue, like quink it's called, in it, which is amazing that it's still here, to be honest, because I've heard it's not got great light fastness, but this book has been sat in a box, so wow. I mean, it's just so nice to see what was moving me at the time, because this was such a big part of my life. And it wasn't that I was super knowledgeable about the Beat Generation in that period of time, but it was that kind of initial emotional connection that meant a lot to me. And I'm glad I have now an artifact that represents the fact that it meant a lot to me. How cool is that? First instance of commonplacing on this kind of ink-stained book with not very many pages filled, but it means so much to me. Very cool. So that's the first set. Those are the main 4 books that are in my first box. A lot of the first box is just storage. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed seeing these guys. They mean a lot to me, even though I don't kind of identify with a lot of what I wrote in them, because that is so often the way.